This episode of WoW Weekly is brought to you by WoWweekly.net, your source for Warcraft and Blizzard news, guides, and editorials.
This week in Warcraft, the Warlords of Draenor Alpha has been delayed due to the quest revamps. More item upgrades are coming up in the next World of Warcraft patch. And Diablo 3 is 2 years old and it's celebrating by increasing the legendary job trance by 100% until Thursday. I'm Mezzy and welcome to WoW Weekly episode number 33. This week I am joined by LJ. How are you, LJ?
I have the flu, but for the rest I'm fine, so how are you doing?
I'm okay, tired, burnt from the sun yesterday.
Oh.
I know, I went outside. I
How-
probably shouldn't have done that.
How dare you?
I know, I'm not a true gamer anymore, alright?
No, not really.
Also joining us is Matt. Welcome, Matt.
Hello!
So, episode number 33. How are you, Matt? I don't think you were here last time.
No, I was not. I think I was knee-deep in a lot of alcohol.
What's wrong with you, man? You know this is more important.
Oh, sorry. Do apologize.
Okay, so, there wasn't a podcast last week. There wasn't much to talk about, and let's be honest, this week there wasn't a lot of Warcraft news either. What we did get here was that in patch 5.4.8, gear is going to be changed slightly. Instead of being upgraded instead of being able to upgrade your items twice, you'll be able to do that 4 times. Because why not? In addition, you'll be able to upgrade your legendary cloak twice. That one will not be auto upgraded to 4. And the root of this is that there won't be any blanket nerfs to Siege of Orgrimmar. They feel that in general Orgrimmar is at a pretty good level as far as progress goes. A few months back we had the targeted nerfs to the last few bosses, and they feel that Orgrimmar is fine as it is. There's 4 different difficulties. There's no need for nerfs because there's a difficulty for every single type of player. So instead, you'll be able to upgrade your items yourself and get it's a little bit easier over time. Celestalon tweeted that once you have everything upgraded, it'd feel like an about 8% nerf to Siege of Orgrimmar. So, let's start with the question I feel we asked like a month or 2 back as well. Does Orgrimmar feel like it needs any nerfs?
For me, no, not really. It's for all the people progressing it. It's a challenge, but not too much. Maybe, and this is just saying I've done it from experience of this. Maybe if they are going to nerf anything or even consider it, the only thing I think they might be able to do is just smooth it out a little bit with the level of difficulty where it goes from sort of like, you get from. Well, one fight needs a nerf is somehow changing Shaman, so you don't have to constantly rely on 3 tanks. Make that slightly changeable for that, because at the moment, yes, it's the well-known way of doing it, but it's a bit of a piss take of messing around with the raid every week, just for one particular fight. And then from there on, really, the level of hardness up to Siegecrafter is relatively smooth. Even Thok isn't that bad. But once you get Siegecrafter, that's a bit of a sort of brick wall. Once you get past that, Clax is not too bad then. Maybe just make it a little bit smoother, but apart from that, no, I think it's relatively decent. Smooth. I quite like it. Yeah, it's relatively smooth, not too bad. I just think, the only thing I can probably recommend from it, just maybe even it out a little bit of how smooth it is, because sometimes it does feel like it is. You sort of go, oh, this ain't too bad. I quite like this race, and smack in the face with an axe.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What about on the casual side of things, LJ?
Well, it's going okay. We've progressed through whole of Siege of Orgrimmar, like Greedy said, but yeah, we're trying to go into heroics now. That's just too difficult for us at the moment. I don't know if it's us. We're trying on Immersius, which is it should be the easiest of them all, if I'm correct.
The difficulty of Immersius Heroic is actually lower than Garrosh Normal.
Okay,
They
so
have
yeah,
stated that.
so yeah, we've been just failing a bit on that. So that's probably just us. But that's the only thing we're having trouble with. Uh, for the rest, I think I think the idea of upgrading all your gear, it should be a 8% nerf. But I think that you can state it like that. But I think in real life, when you really play it, it's difficult to actually say that's 8% nerf because of course your gear is 8% better, but basically, yeah, to actually do those same bosses, you know how they work, of course, but it's just. I think it would be better if they were going to nerf something, then Siege of Orgrimmar itself should be nerfed. But I like how they're doing it now, and that Siege is on a quite good level compared to other instances. That Siege is doing quite well with the difficulty curve as well. So I get what they're saying, but it's just another reason as well as to just um, be able to increase your item level and just spend those value points so you have something to do with them as well. So I think it's a double-bladed sword, double-edged sword. So yeah,
That does a little bit seem mainly why they've done this, because you nerf it, there's no point at all in nerfing it because the amount of time a lot of people have of doing it. But if you do, on the other hand, what they're doing now, it gives all the EPness the feel of, oh my god, look at my gear score, man, it's amazing. And you get all those people doing that, and then you also get the aspect of, as we've said, gear does not make the player. So
Yeah.
for some people, it will feel like an 8% nerf. To other
However,
people, it won't actually feel like a nerf because they suck.
yes. However, as far as gear doesn't make the player, how the item levels have inflated over this expansion, skill matters a lot less at the earlier levels of play. Gear boosts your DPS a long way now, and that's something that's really a core issue here that we have in WoW now.
yeah,
Skill doesn't increase your DPS terribly anymore as it did in the past. Now, it might increase your survivability still because of all the different abilities that are in the game now per boss fight. But as far as your DPS goes,
yeah.
gear is too much of a factor.
Yeah, so I can see that it is too much of a factor at the minute because 9 times out of 10, you can just push through certain sections of fights, if you know what I mean. You can sort of bypass certain aspects of it. Like when we're doing the heroics now, we have decent gear at the moment. Some people may not agree, but a lot of us are raiding like complete morons. A lot of us are raiding okay, but I think a lot of us have got to the stage of we're just a little bit. I think a lot of people are starting to get very bored, and it's really, really hard to concentrate every single raid because there's no light at the end of the tunnel, as we said, or there's no
exactly.
news. I don't know. I think you're
No, but I
Well-
totally agree with what you're saying because at the moment, like the alpha hasn't even started yet, and basically we're still doing the same instance that we've been doing for the past half year, more than that. I don't know. Sure.
Let's see, September. So
Yeah, September,
8 months, 9
8 months. I mean that just and they're saying like, oh well, with the with warlords, there's going to be so much more difference, and they're going to do this different and that different. But all we have at the moment are like, it feels more like a very big, very spread out patch that doesn't offer that much new content. Well, of course, new continent and new quests and stuff like that, but really something different except the garrisons. It's
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to keep our accounts alive, basically, because, well, of course, Blizzard wants to see the money keep rolling in. But I mean, they had a decrease of a couple 100,000 again, I think.
Yeah,
quarter,
it's
last
back
quarter?
to 7.6 million. So we went from 7.6 to 7.8, now back to 7.6.
So
But
that's
again,
I mean, that's the infliction from WoD that
Yeah.
was supposedly going to be so much different. But I mean, if you go on with months without real information, basically only bits and bobs, and
Well,
yeah,
let's put it this way, and we're going to get back to the discussion to this in the discussion point as well. We're 8 months into Siege of Orgrimmar now. Ice Crown Citadel took about a year before the next patch came out. I'm pretty sure when we were 8 months into ICC, we had the alpha or beta already for Cataclysm. We're 8 months into Orgrimmar now. Not even the alpha yet.
no, only a friends and family alpha,
Not
right?
even that yet.
Not even that yet. I
No.
mean, what the hell is going on?
Exactly.
You start
So
wondering.
well, as we said, we'll probably talk about this more
Yeah.
later. But
So back to the feeling, I myself, if I could just quit raiding now and still have a raiding spot, when the Warlords of Draenor came out in my current guild, I would. I'm sick of Orgrimmar. I've had it with it. I do not like logging in to go raiding anymore. It's
I think
past.
a lot of people with you don't like it anymore.
Yeah, Blizzard needs to do something. This is kind of, I won't say, I want to say torturing their player base, but it's taking advantage of them because they know what type of player raids that plays World of Warcraft. They'll keep playing it, waiting for the new content until it actually happens,
Yeah,
and it's not happening.
not at the moment, at least.
Give us another Hellion for all I care. We need
Yeah,
something
give us
new.
something.
So, going back to item upgrades, because that's what we're good at, sidetracking. Um, are you guys happy about upgrading your items, getting your gear higher?
it's at the end of the day, I don't play enough to max my valor points anyway because as I presume most of us do now, all I do is log on to raid. I don't do anything else. I think I played a little bit this morning because, as I've mentioned before, it's very boring. But I have something to do in the house and stuff like that, so I was waiting for that to happen. So I thought, you know what, I'll level my little horde for a little bit. Leveled that, all hunky dory, wasn't too bad. But apart from that, I think that's the only time I've logged on WoW apart from raiding the past month, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do not see the point. I see when it comes to raid time, if I'm on standby, I'll log on. I'll do something for. I'll log on an alt while I'm on standby. I'll do a couple of Ordos or something like that, just see if I get any random bits of gear on it. I'm contemplating re-roll next expansion, see what happens like to another class, but you never know. Just making sure those classes aren't too far behind on gear, so it's quite easy to blitz through leveling, that type of thing. But apart from that, no, there's not much point at all for me at the minute.
No, and LJ?
it's the same, exactly same story. I don't think the being able to upgrade your gear is adequate enough to actually bring people back to the game or make it more enjoyable or make it easier. It's just an excuse, and it's not going to make me do more of this game at the moment. It's boring at the moment, and until
Yeah.
they really fix the core of it and not give us half-assed, pardon my French, solutions, it's not going to be any better, and it's going to stay like this for a while.
Yeah. What it feels like to me is an artificial way of prolonging the content. Now we have to start capping out valor points again. And I don't want to. I've had it with my valor points this expansion.
Yeah.
And
Talent points are more or less, well, they're not completely useless, but they aren't very useful anymore anyway, so...
yeah, and especially.
Yeah, go ahead.
Also, I was saying, especially when you think about it, if you wanted to, it's going to take. I think it's 1,000 a week, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
will take us. When's the patch out? It's a couple of weeks. I don't know.
I imagine it'll be another couple of weeks. It's on the PTR now. I mean, it's a small patch. They'll just check if the buffs work for getting your legendary cloak quicker on alts. And
Oh, that's cool.
I assume after that we'll be able to get it on the live realms as well. One thing as well, one item you can buy on the Timeless Island the next patch for 3,000 coins is a item that gives you 100 valor points. Woohoo!
Wow.
So yeah, artificial prolonging of already boring content.
Everything is awesome.
Yeah.
Everything is cool.
Oh well. There's not much we can do,
So-
unfortunately, about it at the moment. But yeah,
Well, the thing is, it does feel like, say, at the moment, you think about it, you've got how many? Is it 13 items of gear you have now, something like that?
17 or 18, more like
Is it 17, 18? Well, say you're gonna be able to do four in the first week, and then just
four
from
every
there
way,
on.
basically,
Yeah.
until you. I mean,
500 per item, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a 2,000 cap, isn't it?
No, 3,000.
Oh, three. Ah, it's three.
2,000,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So you'll be able to do 6 if you cap it before the expansion comes out. So
Yeah, the thing is, it's becoming a regular occurrence here on the podcast, but we were already talking about this, about how there's nothing new. Back in February, we were already getting annoyed then because 3 months before that was BlizzCon, and they had said soon TM.
Yeah.
And now we're half a year later. It's been half
I
a
wouldn't
year
be.
since
I wouldn't be
BlizzCon.
amazed if it's going to be even postponed eventually. I mean, that's Blizzard.
Yeah. It's Blizzard, but after all the promises, and we'll get back to that in the discussion point, but really, Blizzard? Really? Let's move
Yep.
on.
Please.
Yes, so, for the next news bit, Matt's going to introduce it. Doesn't happen often on the show, but
Matt's actually going to do something.
yes,
I know,
Matt's
actually
going to
gonna
do
do-
something. So,
Wow.
Matt, the stage is yours.
we just had a little news point because I saw it on MMO Champion. It sort of leads into the discussion point and also what we've been moaning about and we have been moaning about. There have been pictures released on Twitter by Corey Stockton of all the old design notes, old raid notes here and there, map designs. And my thought is, why? I said, at the moment, if we are waiting for new information, this is what we want. We want new information on the new raid. That is why we are here. That is why we still play the game, because, as we've all said, it's not as good as it used to be for me at the minute. So, what are your thoughts on them actually releasing it? Does it seem pointless? Is it almost, yes, we know that it's taking us a lot longer than we thought? So here we go. Look at some notes that you'll probably never look at again.
Well, honestly, I think it's just random fun things on Twitter. He actually started releasing these like a month or two ago, and in this time span of 1 or 2 months, he's released like 6 different images. So it's nothing really big. It's just something fun to look back at. I certainly enjoy it for nostalgia reasons and to see how it changed compared to reality.
That is because you are the man of no life.
Exactly. But for as far as then MMO Champion posting it, the exact same reason why there's not much happening on WoWweekly.net either. It's because there's not much happening. We're not getting any information. The best we had was a freaking art craft. Outside of that,
And now you have the Hogs of Draenor, those motorbikes, that reality shit
yeah,
series thing.
Azeroth Choppers, the WoW reality series. Really, why would they pick a reality series format for something dedicated for gamers?
I don't know. Beats me. I think Blizzard has lost, sight of a lot of things.
There is one thing I
But-
have to say though. The bikes do look cool.
Oh yeah, you seen the tusks?
I don't like that one. I like the Alliance one. I like the way it looks cool. It looks smooth. It looks good.
I haven't actually followed it.
You should. You should.
You
Do you know
should.
what? Even though it's annoying, it's pretty pointless, but they do look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, LJ, what do you think about the images from Corey Stockton?
Well, I've never been that huge on those things. I do always get the physical collector's edition, though, because I like the art book as such. But I mean, it's like rubbing a bit of. I feel like salt in the wounds. Maybe not like they would do it on purpose, but it's more like, well, They know they don't have anything to show us, so they just show us random things that, well, might entertain us for a day. But I mean, at the end of the day, we all want information about the damn new experience, a new expansion. Sorry, that we've all been waiting for a long time now. I mean, it's just useless. Basically, I like that they do more things nowadays, and you really see that Blizzard has shifted from just WoW to like a lot of things, like StarCraft 2 is hyper up at the moment, and or has always been high on multiplayer and such, and Diablo now, of course, with Reaper of Souls and such. But it's just WoW is still their flagship, and it's like they're losing track of that, and yeah, it's just useless to, I think. Like the Azeroth your choppers is cool, but it's not WoW. It doesn't have anything to do with really with WoW, and we just want more information basically. And I get if they don't have it, then you can't share it, of course. But that's not our problem. Basically, our problem is that Blizzard is not releasing anything. I mean, all we see are sometimes some like Twitter things and Twitter patch notes and stuff like that. I mean, it's just. I'm missing the real, the Blizzard that would have made you enthusiastic about the future.
The Blizzard from BlizzCon, one might say.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, then you still that was a great presentation because then you could say, well, Blizzard still has their touch. Blizzard is still they're still presenting things like they used to, and they're still, the good old Blizzard like we all knew and loved. But when you look at how it's going now, it's just. No, it's just not there anymore.
Yeah. Matt, what are your own thoughts on these images?
Well, say as I said in the introduction, I just think a bit the same as LJ. Just feels that I don't know. Just feel why. I know what you said. I know he's been doing it for a while, which is fair enough. But it's all right doing it for a while. But again, surely someone sits there going, "What's the point? Why do it for a while?" Yes, it's funny. I think they did say they want to tweet a lot to the community, get in contact with the community, which I do believe they have been doing. They have been talking a lot of crap to the community, but they haven't really been giving everyone what they want. And I think, as LJ said, they've got a lot of other stuff coming out of me. You've got Heroes of the Storm, which is going to be a big game.
Oh, that one, of course, yeah.
That is going to be very good. You've got a lot of stuff coming, but why? I just don't see the point in releasing stuff like that at the moment, but we'll see.
Yeah, let's head into the discussion point then. I hope you guys have had some time to think about this. This week's discussion point. So, what extra features should Warlords of Draenor bring? When WoD was announced in the, or rather, when WoD was announced, the original impression that the developer team gave was that it would release around this time, like May, June.
Yeah.
However, here we are, and it's not even in alpha yet. Now, back in a podcast after BlizzCon, we discussed just how garrisons were the only new feature, and that seemed a bit light. So now that we're at this point, should they put more in Warlords of Draenor? And if so, what type of feature or content would you like to see them add to make up for the wait time that we're experiencing right now?
I think we did mention, we could say that unfortunately this is one of the big lineups we're always going to have, because I think we've mentioned something similar before. And one thing I liked was the variations on the classes. I like that little adding you something else. It's not content, but it's something. A lot of people like to change the appearance. You've got transmove, you've got all these type of things you can do to change your gear.
Yeah.
Nothing to actually change the race
style
that you are, or the play style, or even the race. So I think we saw you can have get the dark iron dwarves in there, get all the types of dwarves, bronze dwarves. You can get the different night elves in there. Do you know what I mean? Just different variations. All the subclasses would be nice, and see how it goes. Leper gnomes, come on, just for a laugh.
I think that, also that depending on which race you choose, it should also influence your character, basically. Like the playstyle or add something different, because then like you have that with other games that you actually have to think about what race you're going to choose, because it'll affect you with your play style, with what you will be able to do. And I think that's a really good option, because I mean, saying that like night elves and gnomes are the same when they play a warrior is basically a bit weird, because they're all different, totally different races with totally different history and totally different skills. But if you do the same class, they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
And I think that with classes on the whole, they've been doing that a lot, especially since like Burning Crusade. They already started with the introduction of Paladin on the Horde side and Shaman on the Alliance side. That it doesn't matter which race, which class, or whatever you're choosing nowadays. Of course, they're still different, but the differences have been so minimalized nowadays that I mean, of course, the healers are still different, but if they're not that different anymore, that you say, well, um, that one class is specific to one thing. It's good that they also changed that, but it's more like, well, I used to be a tank healer, and I still, in heart, am a tank healer. I'm glad that I can do more things now, but I think it's gone too far by giving so many classes hero, giving so many classes the same, buffs. I mean, one and the same buff. I mean, stamina and so dark intent and other things like they overlap. I get that gives more options for raids that don't have many different classes, but I still think it makes it too one-sided.
But isn't the balance for the game good? Won't you otherwise, if you're in a guild, for example, that's having a hard time, first example, mages. And Death Knights are always cursed with us as well. Let's say those two classes gave very particular buffs. No other class gave those. Um, wouldn't that then kind of be... how can I put it nicely? As if a Tauren were stomping on a gnome. Wouldn't that be really freaking painful if you can't recruit those classes, but other classes you don't seem to have any trouble with? We have many druids, 2 hunters, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that then just be too unfair if those two particular classes, Mage and Death Knight, were needed for a certain raid for multiple encounters?
Well, it would be unfair, of course, for that guild, but I mean, that doesn't mean that I get that what you're saying, and it's good for the balance. But in another way, it's well, like every guild struggles with. I mean, most guilds struggle with like recruiting and such. Like we also have a deficit of healers. We only have like the same 3 healers we've had for a year now, but we've had more DPS and tanks incoming. So that's always been a problem. But I think no matter how much you really balance that out, sometimes some problems will still exist. Of course, you can try and make it easy, better as possible, but I think it's still important for the game to actually, for a player as well, like to identify myself as a paladin, then, well, like a shaman or a druid. Okay, not a druid, but maybe we're a shaman because of the same sort of heals we also have nowadays. It's just, I think it's not important more what you choose at the starter screen anymore, because it looks so much like the others. And I get that you want diversity and balance, especially to the, well, not diversity but balance, especially to the raid group. But I think there's also a point where you need to say like, well, if you stack one class, if it keeps it going like this, you have to just stack one class and basically you'll have everything.
So you want them to go, for what you want them to go away from bring the player, not the class?
Well, no, I want them to do a combination of both, because it didn't used to be that you have to bring the player or the class. It used to be, well, you had the player with a class because he knew that one so well,
Yeah.
because he played that one so well. But nowadays you have a lot of players that know a class like Paladin, but you can switch to another class very fast because it's very similar. I'm not saying that it's a per se a very horrible thing, but it's something that shouldn't go too far.
Okay. That's fair enough. For me, as far as features goes, what I was thinking the other day was, well, they're making the new models, they're working on the skeletons and stuff. Wouldn't this be the perfect time to surprise the entire community by saying, Dance Studio 6.0?
Oh god, the dance studio.
I mean, they're working on the character models anyway, and the animations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So why not?
Because they have lives.
It's a dance studio. Who doesn't want it, Matt?
Yeah, man. What's wrong with you? Too many things. We know that.
Shocking.
But other than that, I was also thinking what could keep us going for now is give everyone, regardless of buying Warlords of Draenor or not, a free level 90 boost to get people to play another character and entertain themselves with that for a while. Outside of that, Blizzard screwed the pooch horribly on this one.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think with that depressing note, we'll end it.
Yeah.
So, thanks for watching. I certainly hope you enjoyed our semi-ranting, complaining, Blizzard really
A
needs to
lovely
get that.
conversation.
Exactly, our lovely conversation. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please comment, subscribe, click the like button. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/wowweekly, at twitter.com/bbmezzy, and you can check out our website, wowweekly.net. Let's see, is there anything else? Wowweekly.net's regular news articles as well as editorials, although they are less regular. I need to poke some people again. I think that's it. So, LJ, Matt, thanks for joining me. Hopefully,
being
we'll
here.
have more news
Thank
so
you for
we
being
can
here.
do a podcast next week and not have to skip another week again.
I hope so. That would also mean that there's information that actually to spread. That's
Yeah,
that's the big upside.
yeah, exactly. I'm Mezzy. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.
Okay.